Welcome to Folktales of Africa with T-bwoy. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click on the notification bell to get more content like this, and please like our videos. Thank you. Now let's continue. Long ago, kingdoms rose against each other in relentless battle to expand territories and claim supremacy. Among these was the Kingdom of Kunsu, renowned for its military strength and relentless conquest. On the other side was the Kingdom of Kokofu, equally fierce and undefeated in battle. Both kingdoms had won numerous wars and their clashes were legendary. One fateful day, the soldiers of Kunsu marched against Kokofu in what was deemed the ultimate battle for dominance. The war raged for 2 months, leaving a trail of devastation. Both kingdoms lost countless soldiers and neither seemed willing to yield. It was during this stalemate that the Kingdom of Kunsu summoned their ultimate warrior, Kunsu. Kunsu was a force of nature, a warrior of unparalleled skill, called upon only when all else had failed. His arrival turned the tides of the battle. Within 24 hours of Kunsu joining the battlefield, Kokofu suffered unprecedented losses, doubling the numbers of casualties they had endured in the previous 2 months. The soldiers of Kokofu were demoralized, and by the 72nd hour, only one warrior was remained standing, Kusi, the commander of Kokofu's forces. Exhausted and overwhelmed, Kusi hid amidst the rubbles of the battlefield, tears streaming down his face as he contemplated the annihilation of his people. As Kusi knelt in despair, an old man appeared before him, emerging from the shadows as if from another realm. The old man's presence was otherworldly, and Kusi instinctively knew this was no ordinary elder. "You have to save this kingdom, Kusi," the old man said, his voice calm yet commanding. Kusi looked in disbelief. "Save this kingdom? How? I am the last soldier left. I am certain I won't even survive the next 10 minutes. The old man's eyes glowed faintly. "With your own strength, you won't, but with our help, you can emerge victorious." Kusi's heart burned with a mist of desperation and hope. "Then help me. Do whatever it takes. This is my land, and as a commander, I must do all I can to save it. The blood of my soldiers cannot be in vain." The old man nodded solemnly. "There is a great sacrifice you must make. It will cost you everything." Without hesitation, Kusi replied, "I will do it." The old man instructed Kusi to kneel and raise his spear high. As Kusi obeyed, the old man poured water from a broad leaf over his head and weapon. The air around Kusi grew heavy, and the old man vanished as sudden as he had appeared. Kusi's body began to tremble violently, his muscles tightening as if possessed by an immense force. He rose to his feet, moving with the speed of the wind and the strength of a beast. Within 30 minutes, Kusi single-handedly disseminated the entire army of Kunsu, including Kunsu. Though victorious, Kusi felt alien. The power coursing through him was overwhelming, and the sight and scent of blood stirred dark temptation within. Yet he restrained himself, his humanity hanging by a fragile thread. The people of Kokofu emerged from hiding, their eyes wide with disbelief at the sight of Kusi standing amidst the carnage. Their savior had defeated the invincible army of Kunsu, but the manner in which he had done so left them uneasy. Whispers spread like wildfire through the kingdom. How had one man achieved such feat? What kind of power resided within him? Could he still be trusted? As the people celebrated their survival, fear began to overshadow their gratitude. To them, Kusi's newfound strength was both a blessing and a curse. Rumors swirled, painting him as a man possessed by a dangerous spirit. The once admired commander became an object of suspicion and dread. The king of Kokofu, Nana Otuo, convened his council of elders to discuss Kusi's fate. The council, echoing the fears of the people, concluded that Kusi posed a potential threat. "He has done well for the kingdom," one elder said, "but his power is unnatural. What if he turns against us?" The decision was made to exile Kusi to the outskirts of the kingdom. There he would live in isolation, away from the people he had fought to protect. The king summoned Kusi and with a heavy heart relayed the council's verdict. Though deeply hurt, Kusi understood their fear. "Perhaps they are right," he thought. "I don't trust myself either." Kusi made his home near a stream of the kingdom's edge, living like a wild animal. Yet even in exile, he remained vigilant. Whenever rival kingdoms attempted to invade Kokofu, Kusi intercepted them before they reached the village, tearing them through enemy forces with unmatched ferocity. Unbeknownst to the people of Kokofu, their outcast protector continued to safeguard their lives from the shadows. In the bustling city of Goso, a young girl named Erica lived with her mother, Cecilia. Cecilia had fled Kokofu years ago, carrying a heavy heart and a secret she had never shared with her daughter. She often told Erica stories of the ancestral home, its lush vegetation, majestic mountains, and the pristine waterfalls. These tales filled Erica with a longing to visit Kokofu, but Cecilia always found an excuse to keep her away. Tragedy struck when Cecilia died in a car accident, leaving Erica devastated and alone. Desperate for a sense of belonging, Erica decided to seek out her mother's hometown. Though she knew little about Kokofu, the name alone felt like a beacon calling her home. Gathering what little money she could find, Erica packed her belongings and set off on her journey. At the bus terminal, she asked strangers for direction, relying on their kindness to guide her. After hours of travel, she finally arrived in Kokofu, her heart pounding with anticipation. Erica wandered through the village asking for anyone who knew her grandmother, Nana Amasa. When she reached the modest home of an elderly woman, she introduced herself. "I'm Erica," she said. "My mother was Cecilia, sir." The moment Nana Ama saw Erica, she froze. The girl's resemblance to her late daughter was undeniable. Tears streamed down her face as she embraced her granddaughter. "You are my blood," she whispered. "Tell me, what happened to Cecilia?" As Erica recounted her mother's tragic death, the two wept together. Though grief hung heavy in the air, Nana Ama found solace in Erica's presence. For the first time in years, she felt a sense of hope. Determined to protect her granddaughter, Nana Ama kept Erica close, unwilling to let her venture far. But Erica's curiosity about her mother's stories and the secrets they hid soon led her to explore the forbidden corners of Kokofu. Erica's life with her grandmother was peaceful, but her curiosity about the man who had saved her at the waterfall lingered. Each morning, she would replay the encounter in her mind, wondering why her grandmother was so adamant about staying away from the waterfall. Erica's adventurous spirit, coupled with her longing for answers, led her back to the mysterious place. This time, she called out for the stranger, her voice echoing against the lush surroundings. "I know you are here. Please, show yourself," she pleaded. After several hours of waiting, just as the sun was setting, Kusi emerged from the thickest. His presence was commanding, yet his tattered clothes and unkempt appearance told of a life far removed from society. "You again?" Kusi said, his deep voice laced with both irritation and curiosity. "Why have you returned? Didn't I tell you to stay away?" Erica stood her ground. "I want to know who you are. You saved me, and I need to understand why everyone fears you." Kusi sighed and sat on a nearby rock. "You are persistent," he muttered. "My name is Kusi. That is all you need to know." "That's not enough," Erica replied, her determination unwavering. "I feel like there's more to your story. I want to hear it." Reluctantly, Kusi began to speak. He told her about the war, his sacrifice, and how the people of Kokofu turned against him despite all he had done to protect them. Erica listened intently, her heart aching with every word. She saw the pain in his eyes, the loneliness that had become his constant companion. "You didn't deserve this," she said softly. "You gave everything for them, and they repaid you with rejection?" Kusi looked away, his jaw tightening. "It doesn't matter anymore. I protect them from afar. That's all I can do." From that day on, Erica and Kusi formed an unlikely bond. She visited often, bringing him food and asking more questions about his past. Slowly, Kusi began to open up, finding solace in her presence. Little did they know, their growing relationship would soon change the fate of the Kokofu kingdom. Back in the village, Erica's grandmother, Nana Amasa, grew increasingly worried about her granddaughter's frequent disappearance. She suspected Erica had been visiting the waterfall and feared for her safety. One evening, as Erica returned home, Nana Ama confronted her. "Where have you been?" she demanded, her voice trembling with both anger and fear. Erica hesitated, unsure of how to reveal. "I was out exploring," she said evasively. "Don't lie to me, child," Nana Ama snapped. "Have you been to the waterfall? Have you met him?" Erica's silence confirmed her grandmother's suspicion. Tears welled up in Nana Ama's eyes as she sank into a chair. "You don't understand," she whispered. "That man, he's dangerous." "He is not dangerous," Erica protested. "He's kind and brave. He saved me from a wild animal, and he's been protecting this kingdom from threats you don't even know about." Nana Ama shook her head. "You don't know the whole story. He wasn't always like this." Sensing an opportunity to learn more, Erica pressed her grandmother for answers. Reluctantly, Nana Ama began to recount the events of the past. She spoke of Kusi's heroism during the war, the god's intervention, and the transformation that had turned him into a feared outcast. Erica listened in stunned silence, realizing the depth of Kusi's sacrifice and the injustice he had endured. "So that's why my mother left the village?" Erica said, piecing together the fragments of her family's story. She couldn't bear to see him treated that way. Nana Ama nodded. "Your mother loved him deeply, but the villagers' hatred drove her away. She wanted to protect you from this pain." Erica's heart ached with newfound understanding. She resolved to confront the king and demanded justice for Kusi. The man who had given everything for Kokofu deserved to be recognized, not shunned. With a determined heart, she prepared for the battle ahead, unaware of the challenges she would face. The next morning, Erica stood outside the royal palace, her resolve unshaken despite the imposing guards who blocked her path. "I need to speak with the king," she declared. The guards exchanged skeptical glances. "What business does a young girl have with His Majesty?" one of them asked. "It's about Kusi," Erica said firmly. "He deserves justice, and I won't leave until the king hears me out." Her boldness caught the attention of one of the king's advisors, who escorted her inside. The grand hall was intimidating, with its high ceilings and intricate carvings. The king, Nana Otu, sat on his ornate throne, his expression one of curiosity and mild annoyance. "What brings you here, child?" he said, his voice echoing through the chambers. Erica stepped forward, her head held high. "Your Majesty, I am Erica, the granddaughter of Nana Amasa. I've come to speak on behalf of Kusi, the man who saved this kingdom and was exiled for his sacrifice." The king's expression darkened. "Kusi is a complicated matter," he said. "What do you know of him?" "I know he gave everything to protect Kokofu," Erica replied. "He defeated an army single-handedly, yet you cast him out like a criminal. How could you betray someone who fought so valiantly for this kingdom?" Murmurs filled the hall as the king's advisors exchanged uneasy glances. Nana Otu leaned forward, his gaze piercing. "You speak boldly of someone so young. What do you propose?" "Bring him back," Erica said. "Acknowledge his sacrifice and restore his honor. He is still protecting this kingdom from the shadows, but he deserves to live among us, not in exile." The king was silenced for a long moment, his expression unreadable. Finally he spoke. "I will consider your words, Erica, but know this, change does not come easily." As she left the palace, Erica felt a glimmer of hope. She had planted a seed, and now all she could do was to wait for it to grow. Meanwhile, she returned to the waterfall to share her effort with Kusi, unaware of the events that would soon unfold. In the days following Erica's visit to the palace, King Nana Otu was consumed by her ways. He paced the grand chambers of the palace, his mind torn between the weight of tradition and faint glimmer of redemption. Kusi's name was one he had not spoken aloud in years, though it had haunted him in silence. The exile of Kokofu's greatest warrior was not a decision made lightly, but the fear of divine retribution and whispers of the council had left him with little choice at the time. Sitting in his council chamber, the king summoned his closest advisors. They gathered, their robes sweeping the floor as they took their seats. "The girl, Erica, has stirred a matter we thought buried," the king began, his voice heavy. "She claims Kusi still protects Kokofu from the shadows. What do you make of this?" The head counselor, Owusu, a man with a sharp mind but a cautious heart, was the first to speak. "Your Majesty, Kusi's sacrifice cannot be denied, but neither can the wrath of the gods. If we recall him, we risk reigniting the anger. The people still remember the omens, the storms, the famine. But were those signs truly from the gods? Another advisor, Abena, interjected. Or were they the fears of a frightening kingdom seeking a scapegoat? Erica is right. Kusi gave everything for Kokofu. We owe him more than exile. The room erupted in heated debate. Some sided with Owusu, clinging to the belief that tradition and caution must prevail. Others, emboldened by Abena's words, argued that it was time to make amends for the kingdom's betrayal. The king listened intently, his fingers stippled as he absorbed every argument. As the debate continued, the sound of a distant drums echoed through the palace. A messenger entered the chamber, bowing low. "Your Majesty, there is rumor spreading across the kingdom," he said. "The people are speaking of Kusi, the warrior who was cast out yet continues to protect us. Some say they have seen him driving away raiders near the borders. They are beginning to question why he remains in exile." The king's brow furrowed. The voice of his people carried weight, and the idea of Kusi's return was no longer confined to the walls of the palace. The realization dawned on him. Erica's plea had already begun to ripple through Kokofu. "Enough," the king said, raising his hands to silence the room. "The matter demands careful thought. We cannot act on emotions alone, nor can we ignore the will of the people. I will seek the wisdom of the gods before making my decision." That night, Nana Otu retreated to the royal shrine, a sacred space where the spirits of the ancestors were believed to guide the living. Kneeling before the altar, he lighted incense and prayed for clarity. The air was thick with the scent of the burning herbs, and the flickering flames cast shadows on the walls. "Spirit of Kokofu," he murmured, "guide me in this time of uncertainty. Kusi was once your chosen warrior. Have we wronged him? If so, how do we make it right without inviting your wrath?" As the king prayed, a strange stillness filled the room. The flickering flames steadied, and the whispers of the wind seemed to carry a message only he could hear. Though no words were spoken, Nana Otu felt a shift within him, a quiet urging to confront the past and seek truth. When he rose from the shrine, his heart was still heavy, but his resolve had strengthened. The path ahead was unclear, but one thing was certain: the story of Kusi was far from over, and the kingdom of Kokofu stood on a precipice of change. King Nana Otu wrestled with his conscience. Memories of Kusi's bravery during the war and his unjust exile haunted him. The king's inner conflict reached its peak when news arrived from the borders of Kokofu. Raiders had attacked a nearby village, and the soldiers sent to defend it returned with astonishing report. They spoke of a lone warrior who had appeared in the midst of the battle, his movement swift and decisive, scattering the invaders like leaves in the wind. The villagers whispered his name in awe, Kusi. Faced with undeniable truth of Kusi's continued loyalty, the king made his decision. He called for a royal gathering, summoning his advisors, elders, and villagers to the palace courtyard. The air was thick with anticipation as the people assembled, curious about what the king would announce. When the crowd fell silent, King Nana Otu stood, his voice steady but filled with emotions. "For years we have lived with a great injustice. Kusi, a warrior who gave everything for Kokofu, was cast out not because of his actions but because of our fear. Today I say no more." A murmur spread through the crowd as the king continued. "Kusi's sacrifice for this kingdom cannot be ignored. He has remained our protector even in exile, and it is time we honor him. I declare that his exile is lifted and he is welcome to return to Kokofu, not as an outcast but as a hero." Erica, standing among the crowd, felt her heart swelled with pride. Her efforts had not been in vain. Yet, she couldn't help but wonder how Kusi would react to the news. Would he accept the invitation after all he had endured? The king sent a royal envoy to the waterfall, bearing gifts and a message of reconciliation. When they reached Kusi, he was wary but listened to their plea. Erica was among them, her eyes filled with hope as she stepped forward. "Kusi, the people are ready to acknowledge your sacrifice," she said softly. "They need you, not just as a protector, but as a symbol of strength and forgiveness." Kusi's eyes searched hers, then turned to the royal guards and elders. He was silent for a long moment before nodding. If my return will bring peace to the kingdom, I will come. When Kusi entered the village, it was as though time itself had stopped. The people who had once feared and shunned him now lined on the street to cheer his arrival. Tears streamed down the faces of those who had once doubted him, and even Nana Amasa, Erica's grandmother, stood at the forefront, her expression one of relief and remorse. The king held a grand ceremony in Kusi's honor, where he was officially reinstated as the kingdom's protector. But Kusi, ever humble, declined the offer of a lavish life in the palace. "I will continue to guard Kokofu," he said, "but my place is among the people, not above them." In the years that followed, Kusi became a living legend, his story inspiring generations to come. Erica too found her purpose, dedicating her life to bridging divides and fostering unity in the kingdom. Together, they proved that even the deepest wounds would heal when met with courage and compassion. Kusi's legacy was not just one of heroism, but of forgiveness, a reminder that even in the face of betrayal, it is never too late for redemption. Please subscribe to the channel, like and share our videos. Thank you.